Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video. And with this one, we've got a big update when it comes to the Mage class for Dragonflight. The initial response to what you were going to be getting as a Mage was entirely negative. I don't think I've seen a bigger outcry or outrage towards the new talent trees or class design for a class moving forward as I did for Mage. So this is going to be our first substantial update for the class to see if it's made improvements from that initial response. I will say, based off the changes that we've seen for other classes, there is huge potential for every class to be amazing and fantastic. So hopefully with this iteration, we are going to see that same result for the Mage class. So in their post, hello Mages. In this week's alpha update, there will be a number of updates to both the core and spec trees for the Mage class. We'd like to talk a bit about our design directions for this iteration and the improvements we are looking to make. So for the core talent tree, my main concerns for the core talent tree were that there was a lot of 3-point nodes. There was a lot of nodes based on barriers and shields and self-healing that you just kind of like had to take. They were just Shadowlance conduits, copy-pasted over with 3 points that you had to waste and weren't really interesting, weren't really adding into the dynamics of a glass cannon for a mage. That is the direction that I would have preferred for mage moving forward. So let's see if they're addressing that at all in my own concerns. The core tree is seeing the heaviest redesign. Our goal has been to increase options by adding new spells. This is very interesting. Reducing overall multi-point nodes. This is very good. Cutting all existing 3-point nodes. Oh my god, man, where's the meme with the guy that's like starting to get more pog? And improve pathing. Several choice nodes have been split into standalone nodes to increase utility options. We've also been looking to reduce the number of nodes that may feel required. Cone of Cold will be moving baseline to improve the base kit and remove dependency issues. So you're going to get new spells. Cone of Cold is baseline. They're removing all the dumb 3-point nodes. Like that paragraph right there alone is really promising. Here are some examples. So this is only some examples. Reflection. This will teleport you back to where you last blinked. Only usable within 8 seconds of blinking on a 45-second cooldown. So again, spells focused on like mobility and avoiding damage, I think is a lot more preferred for mage. It's a lot more interesting than just I'm me mage, me tank. Like, so I much prefer that. I'm a bit worried that maybe there's too much mobility, especially with like maybe with Arcane getting this, but Arcane has also not been too fantastic with spec for a long time, so maybe it's fine for Arcane to be kind of crazy here. Volatile detonation greatly increased the effect of Blast Wave's knockback. Blast Wave's cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds. So the problems with Blast Wave is that it does pathetically low damage, and its knockback is like basically non-existent. So a talent that can actually make your knockback significant, giving you the ability to like blink back in time, which has always been kind of a cool kind of juking mechanic of mage whenever that type of spell has existed. So now you'll be able to knock enemies likely for a substantial distance on top of this. You'll be very slippery. Time manipulation, casting Fire Blast or Ice Lance on frozen targets / arcane missiles reduces the cooldown of your loss of control abilities by 1 to 2 seconds. So this would be like Frost Nova. What else? Ring of Frost. I'm trying to think of all the Frost mage abilities. Cone of Cold, I guess. Would Blast Wave be considered a CC? I'm not sure how much impact this is going to have other than allowing you to get like a DB Sheep or a DB Ring. But your Dragon's Breath is also... Oh, I guess it would reduce the cooldown of your Dragon's Breath. Maybe this is to try and... So one of the main problems in PvP, at least for mages, is that they'll send their setup, they'll Dragon's Breath Sheep, and they'll just run away. But now your Dragon's Breath's a 45-second cooldown, and if you want to get that on a shorter cooldown, you'll have to cast Fire Blast and Ice Lance and do damage to get your next setup. So this is actually combating a major problem that has been existent in PvP for a while, I think, or is trying to address it. So this could actually be more interesting. I'm sure a lot of people are like, what? I don't need more CC. But this could actually solve a lot of problems. Energized Barriers. When your barrier receives melee attacks, you have a 10% chance to be granted 1 Fire Blast, Fingers of Frost, Clear Casting Charge. Casting your barrier removes all snare effects. So again, when you're being attacked as a mage, it can be really tough to get damage out. This is going to help you be able to get damage out while you're being attacked, similar to like what Destro Warlocks are getting with Backdraft, Mookins have already with Alchemy Frenzy. And I prefer this type of kind of like offense is defense, where it's like a kiss curse. You attack the mage, but you're going to take something in return. So that way everybody is always engaging and attacking rather than just like pulling enemies around in circles and endlessly trying to stall the game. So I do like the direction of this. Bit worried that's going to be crazy overpowered, but honestly almost everything that I've looked at has been really crazy overpowered. So I'm sure you've seen seen that in all the titles of the videos. Fire Tree. We felt the pathing in this tree has not allowed for enough exploration due to nodes that feel required. We're looking to reduce the number of mandatory points by moving a few spells baseline, such as Hot Streak, Fire Blast rank 2, and providing more options below Gate 1 and 2. Phoenix Flames will also be moving up above Gate 1. For me with Fire, I really wanted it to have like a damage over time effect build. I don't know if that's going to get hit or not. At the moment, it looks like you've still got like a massive combustion build, and you'll have like this kind of like hard casting greater pyro build almost with pyroclasm. And then there's like a flame strike option, and I don't know if the damage over time effect build's actually going to get through. It seems like every expansion I'm just waiting for, like, oh, they're changing Phoenix Flames to be different and spread dots, and maybe Fire's going to be a dot spec again, and it just doesn't happen. So this is nice for quality of life for you as Fire, but for me, the identity that I wanted from Fire, I don't know if that's going to get hit in time. Frost Tree, a good amount of feedback for this tree has been related to the Icy Veins nodes and how required they feel, which is leading to little choice to the bottom third of the tree. We're looking to allow for backtracking and additional choice. To help accomplish this, we're making all 3-point nodes into 2-point nodes. This is very good. And reducing the point count of the Icy Veins related nodes below Gate 2. Additionally, Winter's Chill functionality will now be baseline when Flurry is learned to allow for more point flexibility, so allowing you to control and have more builds and options. Right at the moment, it's kind of like Glacial Spike, Splitting Ice, Ice Lance, Cleave damage, Blizzard, Frozen Orb builds, Ice Lance spam builds. So you should likely have a lot of creativity now within your talent tree with this specifically, but we'll have to wait and kind of check that out as the gameplay comes through. If you want to stay up to date with all that stuff, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's going to let you know when all of those videos go live, and I'm working diligently to be the best resource to get to 100,000 subscribers as well, and it would be greatly appreciated in your assistance along in that journey. And finally, we've got the Arcane Tree, and Arcane, I mean, let's look at this. Like, it's got like an essay on its own here. Arcane's getting a lot of attention. The Arcane Tree has been updated and will have quite a bit of reorganization of talents to better open up options as you navigate through the tree, as well as make a few talents that felt previously inaccessible a little easier to access. Cooldowns and some abilities have also been adjusted to better flow with Arcane's 45-90 second windows. Below is a highlight of some changes you can expect for the next alpha build. So some problems with this is like, you had some spells that felt really bad to take as talents, like Evocation or your Mana Gem. Like, it felt really weird that these were talents, considering how their impact overall in the class doesn't feel like they should just kind of be baseline. So I do wonder what they've done specifically to address this. Arcane Bombardment is going to be going down 1 rank. Arcane Echo down 1 rank. Arcane Surge now grants a burst of mana on cast, so the player can immediately start casting Arcane Blast. So just trying to like ramp up your damage rotation faster. Arcane Orb moved up in the tree. It's now available for the first gate and directly after Arcane Missiles, so you're not going to have to like navigate down to the bottom part of the tree and get things you maybe don't want because you just need to get Arcane Orb, which is really good. Rule of Threes is now a choice node with Arcane Familiar. This choice node has swapped places with Arcane Tempo. Again, yeah, having to go through like Arcane Familiar to get to some vital talents was bad. Now putting a choice node between these two. I haven't been a fan of this recent iteration of Rule of Threes or Arcane Familiar for a really long time, so I would have been honestly happy if they just went away or it was the previous iteration of Rule of Threes. Evocation cooldown has just been reduced baseline to 90 seconds, so you don't need to spend another talent point to improve it. Still gonna have to spend a talent point on Evo, but at least not 2. Siphon Storm converted to a single node, was previously a choice node with improved evocation. Charged Orb now available after unlocking the first gate. Charged Orb grants additional charge, so you're going to be able to get the double orb pretty easily now and still go after some other talents. Orb Barrage converted to a single node, was previously a choice node with Orb Barrage, now also reduces the cooldown of Arcane Orb by 2 seconds when clear casting is consumed. And you can see we're going to get a lot of clear casting when you're getting attacked as well, so there could be a lot of damage potential for Arcane here. Nether Tempest, position of the tree has moved towards the center of the talent tree as a choice node with Reverberate connecting from Mana Adept and improved Arcane Barrage. Not sure how much implications this is going to have, honestly. This is like a very specific moment in the tree. Nether Tempest has been in the game for a long time. I'm not sure if I'm super stoked about it at the moment. It's just kind of like a passive AoE dot that's not really too much impact as much as it used to be, unfortunately. Conjure Mana Gem is now going to restore 25% mana up from 10% and now grants 5% increased spell power for 10 seconds baseline. So turning Conjure Mana Gem into more of a damage oriented cooldown definitely makes it a lot more appealing to take as a talent than kind of just leaving it as its flat mana return. Cascading Power now grants up to 2 stacks of clear casting when consuming a Mana Gem, previously granted spell power. So you can opt in between you want spell power or you want clear casting. Enlightened moved lower in the tree from row 6 to row 8. Resonance moved to Enlightened's previous position. You can really get Resonance pretty early on. Presence of Mind is also now going to have a 45-second cooldown, down from 60. So like pretty much just all around arcane buffs, more interchangeability of the tree. Really good news here for Arcane. I would say good news for Frost. For me with Fire again, for me to enjoy Fire, I'm really hoping they have like a dot build available in the talents, and then your core talents are getting the complete revamp that we were really hoping to see. So overall, this looks like some pretty good stuff for Mage, and we'll just have to continue on here as we move through the alpha into the beta. Remember, this is the alpha stages, and usually at this point we're like, oh, don't worry about it, it's just alpha, and then like nothing's happening. But this time around, it feels like things are actually happening, which is really good news. Other than that, thank you very much for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one.